And the next thing I know, my chance with her is blown, well, my mouth gets carried away. I'm tongue-tied, 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 tongue-tied.
So one of the tips that I like to give to you guys about dating is when you first start asking women out, you do not ask them out on weekend dates. And the message I'm going to be answering today is a perfect example of why that is. So this guy writes me, he met a girl on Hinge. He's been trying to ask her out on weekend dates and she's been unavailable. When he asked for a weekday date, she was totally available to go. And so since that time, he's been trying to consistently ask her out again for weekend dates and she keeps rejecting them, but is still open to weekday dates. And so he's now concerned that maybe she's not texting back enough. He doesn't know what's going on. And so we're going to answer his question. And along the way, I'll stop to give you guys insights about other things that he's doing that are wrong that he needs to correct in order to have a shot with this woman. My name is HarryWilmington. I give dating advice to introverted men on how to date as their authentic selves while still getting your alone time. Go to introvertdatingsuccess.com for one-on-one coaching and to contact me so I can answer one of your questions on one of these shows or through coaching methods. All right. Also good to check out some of my programs and my album by Nan Juan called No Girls For You, the ultimate guide to losing the girl of your dreams. Let's get into this guy's question. He says, Harry, I met this girl on Hinge, talked for about 3 weeks. Her weekends have been busy since we started talking, so I suggested a weekday date. She accepted, and we went and had a lot of fun. No awkwardness, great chemistry. She complimented how I looked and all that good stuff. She told her mom how great of a date I was and told me the next day. Well, that makes sense. The reason that she's not saying yes to weekend dates is subconsciously because of what I tell you guys, which is that Fridays and Saturdays are typically meant for date nights with people that you're already in a relationship with. It signifies that there's already a strong bond there because those are think about it. You get off work on a Friday, you have the whole weekend free, right? So you giving up your free time to be with somebody and spend time with them, that's a really, really big deal, right? And women see that as a big deal. Here's the problem is that if she has not been dating you for 2 or 3 months, she hasn't solidified her feelings yet, which means her feelings are not going to be as strong for you when you first start dating as they're going to be 2 or 3 months from now. So when you ask for a Friday or Saturday date early on in the process, what do you think she's reading into that? What she's reading is, this guy already has super strong feelings for me because he's sacrificing going out with anybody else to spend time with me. And that's a problem when she's not at that feelings level yet. Now, the only exception to that rule is if she has a schedule with her work whereby she has to work these weird night hours during the week, and the only time she's available is on a weekend. But if she has free time during the week, you err on the side of asking for those weekdays when you first start dating because you don't want to give her the wrong perception that you're stronger in your feelings in this process than she is. You're thinking it should be no big deal. You're just wanting to ask her out. You figure Friday or Saturday is a free day to do it, so why not? But I'm telling you, women are subconsciously reading into this a lot stronger, which is why she's rejecting it so much. But notice at the point that you said, let's do a weekday, totally open, totally fine. Because for women, that's a more natural part of the process of going out on a day that doesn't have so much pressure on it. Because think about it. If you really like this woman and you take her on a Friday date, you might be like, oh, I want to spend more time with you beyond this date. And most women are going to want to try to confront you and be like, I don't think we should do that for these first couple of dates because even they don't understand that they only need a small amount of your time in the beginning. Whereas with a weekday, there's a cutoff time. She got to go to work tomorrow. You got to go to work tomorrow. So she can realistically say, oh, it's 9 o'clock, man. I got to start getting home because I got to get rest for work tomorrow. Oh my God. On the weekends, she ain't got that ability. And if you're not a guy that's understanding of how to keep a date short for those first few dates, her fear could very well be you're going to end up trying to make this an all-night date, and she's not there for that, especially because most all-night dates lead to physical hookups, which again, if you haven't dated her for at least a couple of dates, she may not be there either. So you got to understand there's a lot of psychology that goes into even something as simple as choosing the days of the week to ask women out. You are better to go on Sundays through Thursdays when you're starting out. Don't do Fridays or Saturdays until she first suggests it. Then you know those days are now open. That lets you know that she's now seeing you as a person that she's willing to sacrifice those weekend times for to spend with, okay? Don't be offended by it when it doesn't happen in the beginning. Just know it is what it is and get those yeses for those weekday dates. Continuing, he says, I tried to set up something for the same weekend. So he took her out on that date during the weekday, and now he's trying to set up another date for that same weekend. When you first start asking a woman out, guys, you should only be seeing her like once a week. At the point that she starts suggesting, hey, so I know I saw you on Wednesday, but there's this cool concert happening on Saturday or Sunday, I want to see you. When she starts mentioning trying to see you more than once a week, that's when you can consider taking that option. And even then, as I've said it before in this show, sometimes women will suggest things and not be aware that's going to be to the detriment of their feelings. So if you take her out on a Wednesday and she's like, hey, let's go out again on this Thursday, it's great that she has that interest, but going out with her so soon, right after you just did a date, could also start to cause her to lose feelings. So you have to really know how to balance out this whole, I'm seeing her once a week, she's suggesting things, do I now say yes to that suggestion and go out with her? But yeah, you trying to set up 2 dates in the same week, no bueno. Unless she suggested it, you shouldn't be doing anything but just that one date. Then after the date, you wait for 4 or 5 days and ask her out again for the next week. And you could keep doing this until she brings up seeing you more than once in the week. He says he tried to set up something. She was busy that weekend again. So I tried another weekend that was 3 weeks away. She's busy. Then I tried one a few days later, but for May, it was a concert and again, busy. She's busy because she's going to concerts, something we bonded over, and it's normal to have tickets to these events way in advance, which I get. Well, yeah, that could be part of it, but the other part also is, again, it's too soon in the dating cycle to be asking this woman to go out on weekends. And to be fair, yeah, when a woman starts dating you, she might like you a lot, but she might not have anticipated meeting a great guy that she was going to want to spend time with, like more than just through the course of the weekday. And she's probably booked her weekends up for a little bit. So give her that time. Hey, it's February/March now. So she might need until like the middle of April to book you in for a weekend. But even if that's not true, she might need that time to be able to build up enough trust and enough feeling for you to want to see you on weekends. But all I want you to worry about is what days and times are you getting yeses? If she's saying, I can see you Sunday through Thursday, I can see you sometime during the week, take the freaking date and don't be mad that you can't get a Friday and Saturday. It just means that she's not there in her feeling cycle yet and she needs time to have spent enough time with you to want to spend those days with you. He says, I ended the text by saying, all right, I'll figure out something for another weekday. Good, you should. She responded enthusiastically, of course, and told me something she was doing at the very moment. I responded with the question and nothing back for a day plus and counting. Well, to be fair, that's not a conversation. Like when you're texting with somebody, inevitably the conversation has to end. So she sent you something about where she's at. You asked her a question of some kind and she didn't respond back. So I get it. It sucks that she didn't respond back to your question. I don't know what your question actually was, so I can't really decipher why she would or would not answer it. But the point is this, like at the point where you said that you'll figure out something for the weekday, really the conversation was over. So the next thing you should be sending her is, hey, let's go for this thing on this day and this time for this weekday, all right? This is also at the point where I say texting tends to kill attraction. So you might be a little miffed that you asked her a question and she didn't respond, but the reality is you shouldn't be trying to have a consistent conversation with anybody over text on the phone. Texting is a crutch that men are now using in lieu of waiting for dates to have actual conversations. You're going to be better waiting for the actual date before you talk to her back and forth so you can get a better read, so she can make sure she's not misreading anything that you're saying to her. And so more importantly, when you wait that long before you talk to her, you have something to talk about on the date. She can anticipate hearing about what you've been up to versus there's no anticipation because you told her every single thing during a text conversation during the week, and now you have a hard time coming up with stuff to talk about on your date, all right? He says, I haven't reacted poorly at all, but I'm trying to be wary of being too much or too overbearing. I've made the mistake of texting her too much, but she has matched that energy. That does not mean that she likes it. Because keep in mind, if she does have some kind of building feelings towards you, she doesn't want to hurt your feelings by not texting you back. But most men have the problem of thinking, wow, she texts me back, I gotta text her again. Oh, she texts me back again, I gotta keep texting. And like you said, she's matching your energy. You're the one that's over texting, therefore she's feeling obligated to have to text you back, even though, as you can see, she's not really wanting to do that because she wants to, probably save these conversations for in person. And also, when she's not in front of your face, dude, she's got a life that she's living outside of you, and having that life interrupted constantly by these no-nonsense texts that she now has to think about answers to, it gets frustrating. I get frustrated by that, and I'm a dude. You know what I'm saying? So, like, lower the amount of texting. Your texting should only be to ask her for a date. That's it. You should only be, in those first couple of months of dating, you only text her to get the date. Or if she texts you out of the blue, you text her back, but you don't try to have an all-day conversation with the woman, okay? They don't actually like that. He says, this woman is probably the most attractive I've had the chance to be with yet, and we share a ton in common. So I understand I'm a little overexcited, and as a result, I'm overthinking and maybe trying too hard to turn her into my girlfriend. Now, I'm a little bit older than this guy, so here's the thing. I get that. I've been, my 20s and early 30s where a woman's highly attractive on the outside. She's got the look, she's got the va-va-voom going, and your brain just goes stir crazy because you're like, oh my God, I got to do everything to hold on to this. I have been in enough relationships to understand this, is that when fights come, the woman's not as attractive. When she starts speaking out of turn or mistreating you, they become less attractive, including on the exterior, right? So I've, over the years, because of that, have gotten to this thing where, like, when I see an attractive woman, my first thought is like, she looks really hot. And then the second thought is, okay, but like, if we get into a fight or some crap, or she starts speaking weird to me, like, how's that gonna be? And so that allows me to look beyond just their surface and be, okay, like, I need to really get to actually know the depth of them to see if they're attractive beyond the looks. But the good part is that keeps my head straight to where I'm not just flabbergasted by their looks so much that I end up not being aware of things they could potentially do to, like, be red flags. And it also keeps me level-headed, so where I'm not just going so gaga over her that I'm, saying the wrong things or making mistakes or calling them or texting too much. I treat every woman that I'm dating the same way in terms of, like, how much I contact them, the kind of dates that I take them on, what kind of conversations we're having. I don't deter from that because I found, honestly, you could have the same general kind of pattern or flow with most women. And if you're doing it the right way, they all respond to, like, the same stuff. It just is what it is. So yeah, even if you're overexcited, understand if this woman doesn't work out, as much as it may pain you in the moment, you will find other women that you find equally, if not more attractive, that can come along, okay? But keep a level head about yourself and don't be overextending yourself. You need to treat this woman the same way you would treat a woman that you're only kind of marginally interested in, because you notice when you treat women that you're just marginally interested in, kind of like, it's whatever, that they get stronger feelings for you. So that strategy also works on women that you find highly attractive. You find them highly attractive, but you just kind of be like, but it is what it is. You're going to find you're less stressed, you're less anxious, you're more confident, and they're going to be the ones chasing after you. And as I always say, if they're chasing you, they can't be replacing you. Continuing, he says, I should also note, I responded about 12 hours late the other day because I usually respond instantly with a lot of text. And then he says she responds with a lot as well, but slower. I did this because I felt I was doing too much, but I'm worried that it'll also make it seem like I'm upset or something. Well, here's the thing. It's admirable that you were able to wait a whole 12 hours before you contacted her back. But the idea is to get to the point where your life is so busy, where you're out there chasing goals and going after money and trying to upgrade your situation, that if you so happen to look down at your phone and it's like been 3 or 4 hours since a woman texts you and you can get back to her, that it's not going to leave you frazzled. Because you shouldn't be worried about, oh my God, is she going to be mad at me if I wait 4 or 5 or 6 or 12 hours? You should be busy enough to where if that just happens to happen, it is what it is. But more importantly is that you're worried that she's going to be upset about it. And I'm telling you, guy, that the women I've dated and the female friends that I've talked to, they overwhelmingly are like, I don't need a guy that's all about me all the time. Now, if you're dealing with a woman that is going to be mad at you because you didn't get back to her for a whole day, this early on in the dating process, that says more about her and her trauma and what she's been through than how you're treating her. Because you might be a guy, you might have gone out with the guys one day and you just didn't get back to her until the next day. If she's freaking out, I'd give her the same advice I give you, which is that you need to be not so worried about this dude if he can't hit back you in a day. Sometimes that just happens. So yeah, you shouldn't be worried about if you're making her upset. At best, let's say you made her upset. You now have a red flag test. You now know that this woman's not going to be able to not blow her lid if you just happen to not be able to get back to her when she wants you to in a fast amount of time. All right? So it's a win-win either way. If she doesn't get mad at you, great. You go out, you have a good time with her, and you were able to not talk to her for a whole day. And if she gets mad at you, great. You now know that she's probably crazy and has red flags because she has an anxious attachment style, and you go on to somebody else. You don't lose either way. Continuing, he says, this is clearly a pull-away test, even though she has expressed tons of interest, making loose plans for travel, etc. I wouldn't really consider this a pull-away test, dude. Like, you told her that you wanted to take her out on a weekday and that you would find a thing to do. She said, great. You asked her a random question and she was probably busy and didn't respond. There's not enough time there to be a pull-away test. But again, if you would just stick to only using texting to ask for dates, then you wouldn't have to worry about this kind of stuff. Continuing, he says, what do I do from here? So I'll answer his questions in succession. Do I wait for her to text me? No. You find a place to take her out and say, hey, so-and-so, I found a place to take us out. I'm free this day or this day. Let me know which one works best for you. And make sure you're asking her for a weekday. Do I text her next week and say, let's do that date this week at this time? In parentheses, she responds well to my assertiveness. Well, again, I err on the side of giving a woman the choice of 2 days. So I would say, hey, I found this great place to go out to eat. I'm free Tuesday or Thursday. Let me know what works for you. Notice, I did not frame that in the form of a question. I find that saying things in sentences and statements is going to get you better results than asking questions. I've done a video about why that is, so I'll continue on. He says, the first time I asked her if she wasn't busy on the weekend, she said yes and didn't counteroffer with a different time she was free. So I suggested the weekday, which worked. Because again, it's too early in the dating process for her to subconsciously want to do weekends with you. Weekends are designed for people that are in relationships. You are not in a relationship with her. Therefore, you stick to weekdays until she starts suggesting that she wants Fridays and Saturdays. He says she has verbally expressed she wants someone to be that lead, but also jokingly expressed that I'm a needy texter and that even though she hates to text, she was loving texting me every day. And he says, I realize this can only last so long. Okay, let me tell you something about women, all right? Women use passive-aggressive language or movements to try to get their point across in a non-confrontational way. Now, amongst other women, when they do this, other women are able to pick up on what they're actually trying to say, what they actually mean, without having to be so direct. So, anytime a woman is jokingly saying something about you that she jokingly finds annoying, or that she says, for example, that she's jokingly saying you're a needy texter, she's not joking. She's actually saying you're a needy texter. And the fact that she says she hates to text, this is literally what I've been saying this whole video, that women ultimately hate stupid, unnecessary texting sessions. All they want to know when you hit them up is, are we going out and where do I show up? Oh, and also, what should I wear? That's it. That's the only texting you actually need to do as a guy to get the most effective results. But you want to be chatty Cathy and text all day versus saving your conversations for in person. But when she's saying it jokingly, it's not a joke. She's saying that in hopes that you're going to get in a lighthearted tone that you don't have to text me that much. Like, I'll be cool saying yes to dates, and I will talk to you on these dates and maybe even hook up at some point. But I don't need you texting me on my off time, because as much as I enjoy building this thing with you, when I'm not in front of you, I don't actually want to be talking with you because I have other things going on and I don't need the interruption. Women aren't going to say it to you like that, but I'm telling you, that's the overall feeling tone, okay? As you become more part of their life, then you'll find that they'll be the ones to start reaching out to you with more text. So use texting from her as a barometer of how she's feeling. But you can't even get that barometer if you're the one, as the guy, that is constantly texting her all the time. He says, I want to make the correct steps from here on out and not completely botch this. I have a lot going on myself this month, a test to get a license for a new job, which is critical that I pass. So I will be busy, but I want to navigate this correctly. Any advice you could offer me would be outstanding. Well, hopefully all the stuff I just said to you is helpful. But the overall point I want you to get is this. Stop asking her out on weekends. Stop texting her so much. And ultimately, guy, look out for the growing interest signals you need to look for from her that'll let you know when to take these next steps. So for example, you want to know when to ask her out on a weekend? The first time she asks you out on a Friday or Saturday, that is now available. You want to know how often to text her? At the point that she starts texting you more frequently, that's when you can respond to her text a little bit more. And even when you do, that doesn't give you the okay to open the floodgates and text her all the time. Ultimately, in terms of the texting world, it's going to be better if she's the one that's reaching out to text you first more often than you text her. I typically say do it for 3 to 1. For every 3 times that she initiates texting, you do it 1 time. But ideally, you're only doing it to get dates because you want to do most of your talking in person. So hopefully, guy, this helps you out. For the rest of you, if you need any help, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, click on the coaching tab, and sign up for a one-on-one phone consultation with yours truly. You can also go there to sign up for my Introvert Dating Membership Academy, which has a bunch of programs in it that are designed to help you date as your introverted self while still getting your alone time. And also for funsies, if you want to learn what not to do, get my ebook, No Girls For You, the ultimate guide to losing the girl with your dreams. It comes with a hilarious soundtrack by my puppet friend Nan Wan. That's all about the ins and outs of why all the things you're doing right now to get women are causing you to lose them. So get all that stuff at the website. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and like this video. Thanks for watching. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
Tonight's your night to shine.